Welcome, everybody. Jim Donald here, your MC for the evening. I'm here with Dr. Joe Gatos, our chief scientist at SeaDoc, and I'm here with Kevin Campion, our board president. Who you don't see is Justin Cox at the controls and Erica Nelson in control of this entire presentation. So listen, and then of course we have all of you. The coolest thing ever is I was looking through the chats as I was waiting to come on. We got 24 states out there that are on the line today. Unbelievable. We got British Columbia out there. Who knows who's else out there? But most importantly, we got all of you. And that is what this is all about. We are here to celebrate our shared success over the past 20 years. So please pour yourself a glass of water, a lemonade, a beer, maybe even a glass of wine. Sit back and enjoy this happy hour virtual celebration. And tonight, you're going to see changes that your investments have fueled. And with the help of Joe and Kevin, the importance of your investments going forward. And you're going to have the opportunity to win some prizes. But I want to pause before I begin, just thank all of you for your attendance tonight. We all at SeaDoc send all of you, your families, your communities, the very best as we position ourselves, hopefully in this post-COVID environment and begin to, start the new normal. But let's get started for tonight. First, some of you ordered wine from Compass Wines and Coeur de Terre Winery. First, we want to thank them for sponsoring this event. And if you'd like to order more wines from either one of them, hey, the links are in the chat.
Hey, Jim and Joe and everyone out there, Kevin here. And I'm afraid that my virtual background is showing that I'm not actually sitting in front of a bunch of pigeon guillemots, and I'm actually only wearing an orca costume. I'm not, sadly, an orca. But hey, in all seriousness, for everyone tuning in, first of all, thank you for being here. It's very important for us at the SeaDoc community to just recognize where we are doing the work that we're doing. And this Zoom celebration and all the SeaDoc's work takes place on unceded territory of the Coast Salish people. And through this acknowledgement, we want to signal our participation in the necessary project of reimagining the social contract between Native peoples and the rest of us who have shown up here through different routes to these Native nations. Our solidarity at SeaDoc is with Native peoples and their effort to end generation and historical trauma. So super important to us at SeaDoc. But onward with cheers to 20 years celebration, and just want to thank every one of you for tuning in and thank us, our greater SeaDoc community. So right here, you're looking at our board. This is our current board of directors, which is staffed or filled with some of the most amazing folks that I get to work with. And then, of course, there's all our past board emeritus and past board members and everyone from the last 20 years that's been working to make this happen. A thank you to our sponsors here. Some sweet little preview of some sweet prizes we're gonna get.
Kevin, dude, why are you dressed like that again?
Why are you? I mean, I wear this all the time. Why are you dressed like that, Jim?
I've seen Kevin at a lot of happy hour parties like that. Hey, listen, before you get going, my hair okay? Jim, not everybody's been doing Zoom meetings, giving commencement addresses for MBA students at Georgetown and inspirational speeches to CEOs. So I want to do a quick Zoom tutorial. It may look a little bit different than the Zoom you've been using for happy hours with your friends. First, I want to just give a big shout out to all of you tonight, our donors, the staff, the present and the past, especially Ann Stoltz, our board emeritus, science advisors, funded people, everybody. It's really a team project. So let's talk about Zoom for a second, okay? First thing, you want to talk to us, you have to go to the chat. A lot of you have found that. Go down to the bottom of your screen right there. You'll see a little voice box that says chat. Click on that. Now, if you want to send us a direct message, you'll see an option. All panelists and attendees or all panelists. If you click on all panelists, that's private. That just goes to us. So you want to make a pledge. You don't want people to know about it. All panelists. Right now, why don't everybody just try it out? Click on all panelists and attendees and write one thing you like about the Salish Sea in there. Okay, let's just see if that's working for everybody. Yeah, I'm seeing some of them rolling up there. Okay, I'm seeing, yeah.
They're coming in, Joe. They're coming in strong.
Yeah, okay, good, good. So everyone's getting the hang of that thing. Now, the other thing is you can use that to donate. We're here to celebrate, but we also would like to raise some money so we can continue to do this work. So you can put that into the chat. The other thing you'll see is over our shoulder right here, all of our left shoulders, you'll see a QR code. Now, if you take your telephone and you open up the photo app and you try and take a picture of that QR, it'll take you right to a donation page where you can make a secure donation. So feel free to do that. And what we're hoping is that if you need to leave, make a donation now, but we really don't want you to leave. It's going to be a great party. It's going to be wild. It's going to be wild.
You nailed it, Joe. You nailed it.
I can never get that line right. I don't know.
Finally, you got it.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Joe.
Practicing that for like
Only
6 months.
line. Your only line.
I want to go off script just for one hot sec. It was so cool to see all what people loved about the Salish Sea come in right there. And that was, I love this place.
Did anybody say they loved your orca costume? No.
They went by pretty quick, so I'm sure at least a dozen people came in with that. So back to SeaDoc and what SeaDoc's been up to for the last 20 years. And you guys know that SeaDoc has been, we've been funding science and funding research to the tune of $7 million worth of science that we funded in the last 20 years. That's getting out peer-reviewed papers, testifying in front of federal and state commissions about orca health and puffin health and everything else having to do with the Salish Sea, educating kids through our book and our curriculum. It's hard to believe with all this work that we've been doing the past 20 years that we still have endangered species in the Salish Sea.
Yeah. Actually, Kevin, there's still 113 endangered species listed as threatened or endangered or candidates for that. And that's actually a metric that SeaDoc, Kirsten Gilardi and I started a long time ago, was adopted by US EPA and Environment and Climate Change Canada. It's now actually an indicator species for the Salish Sea ecosystem.
But Joe, I don't understand. Why are there still endangered species with all the work that you and your team have been doing for the past 20 years?
Jim, it's taken over 200 years to make some of these species endangered. You just can't bring them back overnight, right? I mean, think about it. It takes a lot of science just to figure out if a species is in decline or not. Then it takes science to identify the reasons why it's in decline. And then it takes science to influence management and policy and restoration. And it takes time to do restoration. So, you go to the doctor, it's pretty rare you get a pill, you go home and you get better, right? We're talking about lifestyle changes. You may get that pill to lower cholesterol. You got to start exercising. You got to eat right. You got to quit eating those pork rinds, Jim.
No
You got
way.
to lower the stress in your life. Justin Cox made an amazing video called an explainer video. And what it does is it takes something complicated like how does all this work, and it kind of puts it in real simple terms. Justin, why don't you roll that for us?
Imagine going to the doctor with a chronic problem. She examines you, takes your vital signs, and orders tests. According to her treatment plan, you'll recover and stay healthier by taking medication, exercising, and eating more vegetables. Better health is possible, but it will require a long-term commitment. Here, we can see 3 phases that get results: data collection and diagnosis, treatment plan, and follow-through. This is the same approach scientists take when working on ocean health, and it's a challenge that requires significant time and resources. Let's consider the tufted puffin. Over the last 50 years, local residents reported an alarming decline in puffin populations in the Salish Sea. These observations were helpful, but data collection was essential in understanding the degree of their plight. SeaDoc Society took on this challenge by raising significant funds and organizing research that found puffins had disappeared from almost 90% of their nesting sites in the Salish Sea. With these data in hand, SeaDoc could begin a long-term recovery effort. By working with scientists in the US and Canada, along with the Washington State Department of Fish and Wildlife, SeaDoc determined that a formal status review was needed for the puffin and other birds. After raising funds, SeaDoc hired a biologist to write the review and move it through scientific, public, and state approval. This work resulted in the tufted puffin being added to the endangered species list. The next phase, a recovery plan, continued to build on these victories. SeaDoc again raised funds to write the plan and shepherd it through the scientific, public, and state approval process. With the recovery plan approved, SeaDoc stands at the edge of a new and important phase, follow-through. Like your health, real and lasting results can only come from sustained effort over many years. This is true for the tufted puffin and over 100 other species of concern. SeaDoc has been doing this work for 20 years, diagnosing problems, creating treatment plans, and working on recovery for forage fish, sea stars, killer whales, and so much more. We can't exercise for a little while and stop. We need a long-term commitment to staying in shape and monitoring our health. That is why SeaDoc is making investments to remain stable and strong deep into the future. It ensures that we can continue the long-term effort required to improve and sustain ocean health. People like you make that sustained effort possible, and it's the reason we can continue to make a difference for years to come.
That's interesting, Dr. Joe. I had no idea
Yeah, it's
how
amazing.
long it takes to save a species. So you're telling me, though, I'm finished. You just spent 20 years saving one bird. I mean, I love it. It's beautiful, but I guess there's worse things to spend your time on.
No, Jim. This is just one. We've worked on over 60 different species in the Salish Sea, identifying that they're threatened or endangered, working on problems, why, figuring it out, and then working on solutions as well.
So
Over 60.
So that's a lot of animals, and I know there's plenty to choose from in the Salish Sea, but SeaDoc here, we pick and choose that research based on what's going to have the biggest conservation impact at the population or the ecosystem level. So we don't just choose those species sort of willy-nilly. We look at what's going to have that biggest impact.
But Kevin, let me ask you a question. You mentioned the Salish Sea. Okay, I'm the MC, but where the hell is the Salish Sea? And do people on the call, do they even know where it is?
Well, I bet that most of the people on this know where it is, but knowing who knows about the Salish Sea is a pretty good question. And so actually, me and my friend Kate Ruby and Justin Cox from SeaDoc went out almost a year ago just to try and answer that question.
Let's see.
And we made a video about it. Let's see.
Where's the Salish Sea? Take one.
I'm trying to find the Salish Sea. You know where that's at?
You're close. You're close. You can find it by smell at this point.
I'm trying to find the Salish Sea.
No idea.
No idea.
I know.
Like it's over in Russia, isn't it?
I know where the Salish Lodge is.
Okay.
Pretty simple.
Did you have any salmon?
Salmon? We don't do fish here. We do produce.
Okay. You guys know where that's at?
I have no idea where it is.
No, I'm a tourist.
Okay.
Sure don't.
Okay. Can you help me out?
Don't know it.
I think it's over there.
I have no idea what that is, but I am happy to take a picture and pose with you.
You ever heard of the Salish Sea?
Salish Sea? What's that?
It's the name of the body of water that's right here, but it's a new name, so we're like trying to educate people about it today. I don't wear a whale costume every day. I'm trying to find the Salish Sea. I'm wondering if you can tell me where that's at.
You're gonna walk down that way and keep going until you hit the water.
Okay, thank you.
I don't think I can. I don't have the best.
Do you know where the Salish Sea is?
No.
You guys have any salmon back there?
Yeah, we
We actually did.
We did actually.
Chinook?
No. The north part of the sound that connects it to the ocean, yeah? Right?
Cheers. No.
The Salish Sea? No, I don't know what the Salish Sea is. Negative.
The Salish Sea? No. It is probably west, somewhere in the ocean.
The Salish Sea is the area of the Pacific Ocean that extends sort of above the Puget Sound and up into BC. Cheers to that.
The Salish Sea is the inland sea of Washington State and British Columbia. It's from Olympia in the south to Desolation Sound in the north, all the way west to Nia Bay and Port Renfrew. Only 5% of Washingtonians and 14% of British Columbians can identify the Salish Sea.
Hey, KC, so that's why you wore the uniform, the costume.
Joe, where'd you find this guy? Like a Starbucks or Walmart or something?
Yeah, it may have been Albertsons in a discount row or something like that.
Man, I get it, man. I want one of those costumes.
Jim, the costume smells a little bit like an orca, though. You got to be careful.
Yeah, like an orca that's maybe breached a few too many times. But so you guys all now know, if you didn't before, where the Salish Sea is. But I think we should get a little more in depth and just do like a little, maybe some Salish Sea trivia. And the cool thing about this Salish Sea trivia is that we have some awesome donated prizes from our sponsors that you could win. I'm gonna get my fin going here. There we go. Okay, we got some awesome prizes that you can win if you answer correctly. But first, we're gonna do a test question, which also has an awesome prize you can win. So how this is gonna work, I'm gonna ask the question. Erica, who is on the line somewhere with that sweet seal graphic that we're all jealous of, Erica is gonna announce the winner, and then you are then going to win one of these sweet prizes. And the prize for and you are gonna answer by entering it into the chat. So if you think you have the answer here, think you know a lot about the Salish Sea, you're going to put that arrow over the chat and be ready to ring in quick here, because the first correct answer wins the prize. So the first prize you can win is a fist bump from Dr. Joe. It looks like this. It has been donated from Dr. Joe, and I can personally vouch that Dr. Joe's fist bump is guaranteed 5 days of Salish Sea stoke.
I never got one of those. I'm playing.
So yeah, get your arrow over that chat button, folks, and let's get ready to play. So the first question, this is the test one. Make sure we all know how to do this. How many tickles does it take to tickle a giant Pacific octopus?
Do 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 do. All
right, Erica, do we have a winner?
Holy cow, you guys are fast on that chat. You guys. Looks like we have, yeah, it sounds like Alexa Bluth came in with 10 tickles.
Hey, Alexa, I want to say hi to you. Alexa, when she did her bat mitzvah when she was 13, raised over $1,000 for her bat mitzvah and donated it all to the SeaDoc Society. So happy that you could be there. And this is for you, Alexa. Bam.
Wow.
Salish Sea hero.
Alexa coming in with a solid $1,000 before for SeaDoc. That's rad. And the correct answer, because it of course takes 10 tickles to tickle an octopus. 10
tentacles. Yeah. I got it.
That's pretty good. Okay, so let's go for real here.
Yeah.
And so get that arrow over the chat button. And the first prize you can win from this first question from our sponsors at Apple State Vinegar and Shrub Farms.
I like that.
That shrub set and that apple state vinegar. Joe, you said you had a medicinal use for this?
Well, I mean, I tried it in my hair, but I just drink it. It's delicious with some bubbly water. Don't put it in your hair. It doesn't do anything for you.
Yeah, actually, we can see the top when you do that, and I think it's coming in pretty good. Better than, yeah. So, okay, so that shrub set and that vinegar from Apple State Vinegar. And here is the first question. This one's near and dear to my heart. I would like to know the other name for transient killer whale. They have another name that we use. There's marine mammal eating transient killer whales. What's another name?
Jim, did you just type in sea pandas?
Hey, you're not supposed to say what I type in, okay? Don't let it go, Joe. Come on. I'm gonna text you from now on.
Okay, text me.
All right, Erica, I saw a bunch go through real quick. I saw bad orcas, macho tuna. All right, Erica, do we got some correct answer? Or do we have a correct answer that wins that set?
All right, sounds like it's Audrey Holloway.
Ooh, Audrey, nice, wins that set. With the correct answer that we are looking for is Biggs killer whale. Biggs, of course, honors Mike Biggs, who is a researcher up in the north end of Vancouver Island that did some really transformative work on how we all think about killer whales.
Yeah.
Congrats, Audrey.
Congrats to Audrey. Audrey is an awesome marine mammal stranding intern with us this summer in the Whale Museum. So, bam.
Oh, sweet. Audrey, say hi to Alyssa for me, too, if you see her. Yeah, pass on an orca fin bump from me. Okay, next question. All right, which you can win. This one is so good. From our sponsors at Earthbox. Thank you, Earthbox, for this, by the way. One night stay at the Earthbox Inn in Friday Harbor. Let's say you want to get away from it all. Go check out Friday Harbor. I have actually stayed at the Earthbox, and that place they treated me very well. I love that spot. So,
yeah, thank you.
For that Earthbox stay, here we go. Next question is 20 years ago, these two people founded the SeaDoc Society and partnered with UC Davis in order to conserve and save the Salish Sea. Who started the SeaDoc Society? These two people.
Oh.
I can't answer it, Joe. I'm trying to type my answers in. I'm like,
I got that one. That was the Gudgels. Wally and Susan, they got it.
Wally's coming in hot with that. Wally's going to stay at one night. Wally and Susan one night in Friday Harbor at the Earthbox Inn, winning that. Hey, Wally, thank you.
Yeah, and thank you, Kathy and Ron McDowell, who was their answer, the first founders. So,
I bet Wally takes his golf clubs.
Yeah. This is a very old school SeaDoc little session that happened right there. That's great. Yeah. Okay, and lastly, some more Salish Sea trivia, which wins you the large format bottle.
Yeah, this is big. This is bigger than a regular bottle.
This is actually Biggs size. This is orca whale size. Yeah, Biggs. So if you would like to win that, arrow over the chat button, and I would like to know a species of fish that lives in the Salish Sea that can live to over 100 years old.
Whoa, they are rolling.
And of course, Jim and Joe were both in high school when this fish was born.
Hey.
Yeah, I was in 9th grade. Jim was a senior. I think Woodrow Wilson was president at the time, if I'm correct.
Come on.
Woodrow. Okay, do we have a correct answer, Erica?
I think so. Looked like it was Morgan Arrington.
Morgan Arrington gets that large format bottle. Thank you,
What'd
Morgan.
You say, Rockfish Morgan?
Yeah,
That's
rockfish. Rockfish is the answer we're looking for.
Sorry, yeah.
No.
Sweet.
Way to go,
so
Morgan.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. And while I have everyone, everyone's attention, so many of you probably know this, but all the science that SeaDoc funds and conducts is vetted through our science advisory board. And so as we're looking at research projects to fund, and we have this awesome team of folks that they're experts in their field, if it's water chemistry or seal ecology or whatever, and they get together and they say, hey, this is a great project. This is really going to help the Salish Sea here. This one's maybe has to do with clownfish, so it's not so great for the Salish Sea. But they look at our research and help us decide how to prioritize that stuff. And I've had this research project I've been trying to sell these guys on for years. and they just haven't really bit for whatever reason. But I think it's really
not this question, Kevin.
I really want to collect some data on this while I have everyone. So I had Erica.
No, I told you he was going to do that. I told you. I tried to stop him.
Yeah. No. Well, you guys, this is pretty key to the Salish Sea conservation. So I want to know, and you guys are going to get this poll, and so we'll get some data on this. Who will win in a fight? An octopus or a shark? All right, there you go. You got the poll.
Everybody can just click their answer.
Wait, Kevin, can we do a write-in?
Yeah. Ooh, no, actually you can't. So you got to vote octopus or shark. Who's gonna win? I'm not gonna tell you who I think.
And this one, don't put it in the list. Click on that poll that you see that just popped up in front of you. And Erica's going to do a quick tally. She's got a brain for numbers.
And Zoom. All right.
Okay.
Everybody got theirs in?
Ready? Got it in? Got it in?
Erica.
All right. Here
Roll
we
it.
go.
Octopus.
Oh!
Damn, octopus with a handy win. So, Joe, in your scientific opinion, is that some accurate data?
Oh, no, it's totally true. There was a great, amazing thing that happened a few years back. The Seattle Aquarium had an octopus. They put it into a multi-species tank. And in the morning, they were coming in and they were finding dead Pacific spiny dogfish sharks. And they couldn't figure out what was going on. Finally, one night, they paid someone to stay all night and watch. And this octopus just grabs the shark out and then consumes it, goes back to its den. So check that out. Google that on National Geographic. It's amazing. These things are dope.
Hey, that's an incredible story.
There's Justin right there.
Yeah, sorry to crash this pretty sweet party you guys have going on, but I got a cool message just now. By the way, I'm Justin. I do communications for SeaDoc Society, and I'm pulling the levers on these videos tonight. I just got a message from a really cool supporter. This is really exciting. He's a Grammy-nominated artist who sold more than 30 million albums and DVDs worldwide, and he loves the work we're doing in the Salish Sea. Do you want to see it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's
totally.
Let me share this with you.
Happy 20th anniversary to the SeaDoc Society. Thank you for everything that you do. Joe Gatos, you're a hero. You and your team are doing so much to preserve the beautiful Salish Sea for all of us. I'm proud to support you, and here's to 20 more years and beyond, beyond, beyond. Congratulations.
You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. Raise me up to more than I can be.
Hey,
Kevin. Awesome.
Kevin, are you crying?
He's crying. He can't even unmute himself. He's so crying. Jeez.
I'm crying. Pretty emotional experience there. Couldn't really get to the unmute button. No, that's awesome, man. It's great to see that. And
yeah, don't feel bad, Kevin. I was out on the boat one time with Josh and his brother Chris and his mom, dad, Jack, and Lindy. Amazing family. And all these Southern residents were around us. And Josh went out onto the front of the boat and just started singing. I'm not going to lie to you. I started tearing up. I was trying to pretend like it was the wind and stuff. But
hey, guys, can I get this back on track here? I got a little business to discuss. So, Joe, tell me what SeaDoc's doing to get people connected to this unbelievable, beautiful, and important part of our country.
Okay, so let me just tell you the story of SeaDoc and how we do our work, thanks to all of you. Okay, and give me 1 second here to get all this stuff rolling. Yeah, so let me tell you how you have really helped SeaDoc help the Salish Sea, okay? So the name Coast Salish Sea, we didn't really talk about this before, but it's to honor the Coast Salish. The Coast Salish tribes and First Nations have been here since time immemorial. They are still here. They're still here living their life ways. They're amazing partners. in trying to restore this place. They know that their lives and their livelihoods depend on it. And we live here too. This is the place where our kids go to the beach. It's the place where we recreate. Our food comes from this place. Our cities like Vancouver, they're not known for their skylines. They're known for their shorelines, and that's because of the Salish Sea. And we share this place with some incredible animals, some of the world's greatest, world's largest octopus, highly intelligent creature, world's tallest anemone. The plumose anemone can be 1 meter high. Things like rockfish, like we talked about before. This coolback lives to almost 100 years, can't even have babies until it's 17 years old. And then some fish you can't even see, and some fish that are so cute, Disney probably should be making a character out of them. And then, of course, we have 3 different ecotypes of killer whales. It's an incredible place. But in all honesty, we have not been doing a great job of taking care of this place over the last 200 years. Our southern resident killer whales are some of the most PCB contaminated marine mammals in the world. Our trash is strangling animals like the Steller sea lion. Salmon, the backbone of this place, 5 different species of Pacific salmon, used to travel up rivers so thick they were stacked like cordwood, like you see here, or so thick people say you could walk across their backs to cross a stream or a river. We have 4 to 6% of the salmon that we used to have. And now we're fishing down the food chain. We're not salmon fishers anymore. We catch cucumbers, we catch urchins, we catch crabs. Those are our largest fisheries these days. They're invertebrate fisheries. And it's not just the species that we harvest. Things like western grebes, down 95%. As we talked about early, over 100 species listed. That's about 13% of fish and about 1/3 of birds and mammal species. And even things that we think are big, like this big, beautiful western red cedar, really pale in comparison to what they used to be like around here. And our relationship with this place, it has the possibility of changing from the place where our kids like to take their clothes off and run across the beach to having this relationship with this place. But like we talked about earlier, 21 years ago, these people, Kathy and Ron McDowell, had a vision that we could actually do better. They felt like with science and collaboration, we could push forth all of these efforts that were going on for conservation in the Salish Sea. And that's really what happened. You know, science is the backbone. Why did they go to UC Davis? Well, ranked as the #1 university in North America for conservation research. School of Veterinary Medicine has been the best veterinary medical school in the world for 6 years running. And of course, it's home to the world famous Karen C. Dreyer Wildlife Health Center. And so they also had a vision that public, all of you would get behind the work that we're doing. And so when you see this tagline, people and science healing the sea, you are the people that are driving that science to happen. And that science, we're scientists, but we don't just write on blackboards and wear cool sweaters and smoke our pipes. We're trying to do science that makes a difference, okay? And so science like a project we had with Donna Cullen and Peter Ross demonstrating the role that Chinook salmon play in transmitting PCBs to endangered southern resident killer whales and people that eat those salmon. We also worked with a lot of groups, NOAA, Department of Fish and Wildlife, all kinds of collaborators in the US and Canada to develop a plan for keeping endangered killer whales out of an oil spill. This place is known as an amazing migratory bird stopover site. Audrey Benedict just published a beautiful book on this called Pacific Flyways. Early on, CDOC funded a project to develop a tool to identify where these important sites are, where birds put on a lot of weight, so we can actually protect those sites. Thanks to Nacho Vilches, a postdoc that we had, we remember if we're concerned that 1/3 of our birds in decline, we need to figure out why. So Nacho did a risk assessment showing that if you're a bird that eats schooling forage fish and dives underwater, you are 18 times as likely to be in decline. And that let us drive efforts to understanding forage fish populations and working on forage fish recovery, things like heron recovery. This is a scoter. We have 3 different species of scoter. This is a surf scoter. Together, those 3 species have declined 50% over the last 25 years. And we funded a project with Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife showing that overharvest was affecting scoter population recovery. It wasn't the reason they were in decline, but it was affecting their recovery. So these data eventually, after some time, worked to actually change regulations to drop hunting harvest of these animals. And this is an abalone. We have 1 species of abalone here in the Salish Sea, the pinto abalone. They're functionally extinct in the area. That means they're not really reproducing on their own. Very early on, CDOC funded some work on genetics and understanding about what size to outplant them in. And these science projects that we funded are now part of the backbone of the recovery project that's going on with Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife, NOAA Fisheries, Puget Sound Restoration Fund. They're out planting tens of thousands of juvenile abalone to recover this species using that science. And it's not just about loving whales or loving abalone. It makes good economic sense to take care of the environment. This is what we call a derelict or a lost fishing gear. These nets, they get trapped on rocks. People fishing don't want to leave them there, but when they have to cut the net because it gets stuck on a rock, that net will continue to fish year after year after year. So Kirsten Gilardi did an amazing project with the Northwest Straits Commission, and they showed that taking one of these nets out costs $1,358 on average. Now, here's the good news. That net, after 1 year of removal, we're saving almost $2,000 of Dungeness crab that would have got into that derelict net and died. That's a heck of a return in 1 year, and then every year forever, you're saving $2,000 worth of Dungeness crab, which I said before is a very, very important fishery in this area. We've worked on mammals, we've worked on birds, we've worked on fish, we've worked on invertebrates, we've worked at the ecosystem level, and we've worked on things that are so small you can't even see it. Things like ocean acidification, which is all the carbon, the CO2 emissions that we've been putting out into the atmosphere. The ocean's been buffering, and things that we depend on, like these healthy pteropods that you see on the left that make beautiful shells under certain conditions when the water is getting more acidic, they can't even make a shell. And so all in all, we funded 76 projects. Now, science has to be front-loaded. You have to do it before you need the information. It takes some years to do the project. It takes some years to publish it. Just completed a study this summer showing that already 40% of the projects that we funded through our competitive grants program have had a direct conservation result, which is stunning. It's amazing. Now, here's another beautiful thing, is that science is not always available. And so CDOC Society, and this is right on our publications page, CDOC Society, we work to ensure that all of our published information is open access, meaning you're free to read it and download it at no cost. And that's because of supporters like you making that possible. And it's not just about doing science, it's about turning science into action, okay? Not only do we fund how many species of fish are there in the Salish Sea, thanks to Bill and Laney Hoagland, we actually go out and work with groups like the Reef Environmental Education Foundation to train citizen divers to collect data that help us now understand and recover rockfish. Those divers also learn about invertebrates, and we use their data to understand the effect of sea star wasting disease on numerous different sea star species in the area. And we go and we're able to serve on high-level commissions where people are asking us about the science, how does that influence policy? We're called to go speak at the Senate, House of Representatives, and other commissions and things like that. But it's not just that. We also are able to use science for inspiration and for education. Okay, this is about training the trainers. This is a trainer that we trained at YMCA Camp Wakila. They see 5,000 fifth grade students a year and train them about marine biology and teach them to know and connect to this place where we all live. Thanks to Audrey Benedict and her team at Cloud Ridge Publishing, we're able to publish the Salish Sea book, which is beautiful. It's been read by lots of policymakers around the area and read by so many kids. We were inspired to actually make a kids book and get that out there. And thanks to donations from people like you, we're able to make sure that this kids book is available to kids who can't afford it. Kids at Title I schools, tribal First Nation schools. And I wanted you to see this quote down here from Maria Timmons Flores at Western Washington University. We gave her about 100 books for a program called Salmon in the Skagit for kids of farm workers in the Skagit Valley. And she said, I can't tell you how exciting this is. A great teaching book in the hands of students who have so few books in their homes. Some of these students have lived within 10 miles of the sea and never been to the beach. Really inspiring, but we've done more thanks to you. We're able to hire Mira Castle, and she has developed an entire fifth grade curriculum that's already in over 80 schools that's being used. It's freely available to fifth grade teachers, and she's training the teachers on how to use that curriculum. Now, thanks to Bob Friel, who you probably recognize better above water, we're able, and thanks to your donations, we're able to produce Salish Sea Wild, a YouTube channel that's seeing tens of thousands of visitors, especially recently for people that are homeschooling in this time of the COVID pandemic. So I want to say thanks to all of you, our partners, our donors, our funders. But before we look forward to the next 20 years, I want to look back just for a second. I want to give a big shout out to this little known ocean explorer. And I say little known because this is General Bill Anders, and he's probably better known being an Apollo 8 astronaut and taking this photo called Earth Rising. And he's also known for this quote, "We came all this way to explore the moon, and the most important thing we discovered is the Earth." I talked to Bill about that last week, and he said, "You know, Joe, the funny thing is nobody talks about my second quote right after that." I said, "Dang, we're a long way from home. How the hell are we going to get back?" And, you know, he got me laughing. He said, "No, really, what happened is realize most of the Earth is covered by the ocean." And it was this photo that made us call the Earth the blue planet. And it really set off this thing to say, if we're out studying and trying to learn about space, we've got a lot of exploration and a lot of care to be doing back home as well. And I like this Apollo mission a lot. This is John Glenn Jr. in his full Mercury suit, 1962. Later that year at Rice University, John Kennedy gave a speech. He said, I'm promising you that within the decade, we are going to put Americans on the moon. And it wasn't even a decade later, right? July 20th, 1969, when Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin stepped onto the moon, showing us that when you have the science and you have the political will and you have the public support and you have the funding, not even the sky is the limit. And that's what we need to remember with the Salish Sea. We need to get all of that behind us and keep moving forward, because we do see a time when everybody knows and recognizes all the species around here better than they know and recognize their corporate logos. We see a time when we watch and we monitor this place better than we watch the weather or monitor the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And we also see a time when we take care of and restore this place as if our lives and our livelihoods depend on it, because they do.
Thanks, Joe. Oh man,
Yep, that's my story.
It's like it's just so cool to like see everything that SeaDoc has done, and I've been around for a little chunk of that and seen, you know, a little chunk of that work. When you give that presentation, there's a few things that stand out in that, and one that really stands out to me is that Joe Gatos thinks there should be a Disney movie about Pacific spiny lumpsucker.
I love those guys. Look,
we'll get Walt on the phone and try and sell that one. But like, in all seriousness, like especially in this time when we're stuck inside, like it's hard to plan for the next 5 minutes, and to think that Kathy and Ron had that vision of like this decades-long conservation process that it was going to take to protect the Salish Sea, and could see that vision and say, you know what, we're going to take that step. We're going to take that first step towards
Guys,
this.
let me ask you this, though, Dr. Joe and Kevin. I'm a numbers guy, okay? And so not only how much does all this stuff cost, but where does my donation go? For example, what would $50,000 get?
Yeah. So the money goes to the whole project, to everything. But just for an example, $50,000 would buy an entire research project like we've talked about before. This is not National Science Foundation. We can do a lot of really powerful work that changes conservation with $50,000. And so I don't know if there's anybody that would want to donate $50,000 tonight.
Hold up, guys. Hold up. It's my time to shine.
Donate, Erica? You're going to donate?
Hey, everyone. It's Erica. We've been chatting over email and such, I'm sure. Good to see everyone. I just wanted to let you know we got notification that we have an anonymous $50,000 coming in, and the donor would love it if we could match that. That's their challenge.
No way.
Awesome. Maybe Joe should keep talking. That's fantastic, and it's huge. So do we have anybody or anyone?
Yeah, I mean, let me tell you,
fund a project in its entirety.
That's a huge, huge investment, Jim. But it really is the sort of investment that makes really big, pivotal changes. It's amazing.
And you have to invest forward. There's no question about that. There's no question about that.
You guys, you're gonna probably not be too surprised, but our founder and biggest cheerleader, of course, Kathy, is willing to step up and give that $50,000 tonight and match that. So we have got that right off the bat, which is huge.
Kathy, thank you so
Kathy
much.
Dickinson, yeah, thank
So
you.
much.
And
Joe, I gotta ask, what would $25,000 buy?
Yeah, that's a huge investment. And you know, we talked about being a science advisor and a participant on the governor's Southern Resident Killer Whale Task Force. $25,000 pays 2 years of salary, 2 years of travel, and that's just not to be on the commission. That's to go to Olympia. That's to answer questions from the press or from the public about these things, to review the reports. It's huge. And I don't know, do we have somebody tonight that wants to do 25,000? Let Erica know.
Yeah. Well, so I've seen our last year's auction hosts, Lee and Stu Rolfe, have stepped up tonight at the $25,000 level. So thank you guys so much.
Dude,
you are
Lee,
also such
yes.
huge
Thank
supporters
you.
of ours.
Thanks, Lee.
Oh, that's great. That's great. What about 15,000, Joe?
Yeah, so just for example, it's enough funds to pay for the entire writing, filming, and editing, the amazing work that Bob Friel does of Salish Sea Wild. 15,000 would pay for a small research project. Sometimes we have projects where we don't have to go out and collect data. We can actually analyze data and write up a paper. That it does a ton of work like that. So that's a lot of money. It changes the world.
How do you guys feel about 14,000?
Well, we'll take
when we start talking about this. So yeah,
Well,
I'd love that.
We just got an anonymous donor who's willing to put up 14,000. Maybe we got someone who wants to put in that extra 1,000 and get that $15,000 level.
I'll get to that. I'll get to that. But Joe, what about 10K?
Yeah, I mean, 10K is enough for Mira Castle to train teachers from 3 entire school districts to use the Salish Sea curriculum. This fall, this winter, she's going to be training all of the teachers from Tacoma School District. It would buy 500 copies of Explore the Salish Sea for Title I schools or tribal schools, kids that might not otherwise be able to afford to have this book.
Huge.
Holy cow, guys. I have to backtrack to the $25,000 level because Audrey Benedict, your co-author.
Audrey!
Dang.
Thank you, Audrey. That is
big
really,
news,
really
big
nice.
news.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Audrey.
Yeah. Wait, I'm sorry. I was just so shocked by that. Where were you? Where are we at?
We were talking about what $5,000 would buy.
Oh.
And if we had anybody that was interested.
Yeah. Well, earlier, so Corey and Rochelle have stepped up at the $5,000 level. So yeah,
Rochelle,
thank you
our
guys.
past board president, thank you.
If you're board chair, you got to pitch in $5,000.
Yeah, you better start collecting, buddy.
Okay, I'm in.
Yes! Joe, KC, great job.
Thank you, Kevin.
In honor of Pisces.
Woo! Which is, what kind of whale is that?
North Pacific right whale. Thank you for asking.
Someone's
Joe.
making a good movie on that, right?
Yeah, someone is.
Hey guys. Hey, can you cut it? I've got a job to do right now.
Yeah, can I ask the question, what does $1,000?
Well, no, man. I got work to do. Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
We've got Will and Eleanor Parks who have come in at $5,000 and Craig and Penny. Oh, goodness. Well, I was hoping they wanted to be named.
Will and Eleanor, thank you so much. Those
yeah,
are
thank
very
you guys.
much. That is great.
They're really great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Before we go to the $1,000 level, we just got in Sean Peoples and Jen Cleverly at $2,500. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Jen. That's amazing.
Very much. Thank you so much.
Appreciate that.
Man, SeaDoc's got the best community, huh?
Yeah, it is people in science.
I'm not even going to ask about the $1,000 level. I'm just going to, maybe they'll keep coming in. But I have to ask.
Think about $1,000. It enables us to train, teachers. It enables us to buy other books. $1,000 is what it takes to fly. I flew to DC last year to testify, not to testify, but to speak. I spoke to almost 20 different representative and legislative aides about Salish Sea issues. And so $1,000 buys a lot of activity and a lot of change.
I just saw a couple of 5 grands click through the chats here.
Way. Thank you.
Yeah, man, we've got some action here and so many people to thank. So I can rattle off a few of those, but yeah, Frank Greer and Stephanie Soline, thank you so much.
Thanks, Stephanie does a ton
Stephanie's
for the
director
Salish
of Puget
Sea.
Sound Partnerships Leadership Council. Thank you,
Yeah.
Stephanie.
And then at $1,000 level, we've got Odie and Trina Olson,
Odie and Trina.
Roy and Susan Beaton, Patrick Kennedy,
Wait,
Maryland.
can I send a special thanks out to Chris and Artie at the $1,000 level? Like,
Chris and Artie,
I miss you guys so much and want to hang out super bad. Let's make it happen.
Billy
Odie, another
Swalla.
amazing board member.
Billy Swalla, our science advisor.
Billy, thank you.
Jeff and Jonna Mazette came in at the $5,000 level. Thank you guys so
Thank
much.
you, Jeff and Jonna. Thank you.
Yeah, we are
I'm
rolling.
floored. And the thing to remember is, you know, $10 $100 gifts makes a $1,000 gift. And so it really, everybody, you know, it's amazing to see these huge gifts, but remember that if you are able to give $5, that is an investment in your future, and those gifts add up and make a big difference. And so feel free, if you want to make a donation tonight and it's not at the $1,000 level, it's at the dollar level. I mean, think like Alexa Bluth raising money from her bat mitzvah for CDOC Society. It all helps out and it makes this community, makes it work.
It all adds up.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So it's like warms the heart here, which not everything does this time of year, but to see all the money coming is awesome. But in the interest of time, shall we move on to this the next thing we got? What do you guys think? You want to hang out here for a minute?
Yeah, let me do this. Let me first just say thanks to my mom and dad who just gave $1,000. Thank you. I know you never thought I'd get out of high school, but
Dr. Joe's parent.
Hold on. At the Rhodes Brothers combo here, $50,000 from them tonight. So thank you, Adam, Emery, and Bryce.
Adam and Emery.
The Rhodes family.
Great. That's great.
Yeah, Rhodes Brothers.
Rhodes Brothers, we love you.
Let's run this video, Kevin. But before you fire it up, I just want to say thank you to the amazing folks that shared their video and photos. Justin is a magic worker, and thanks to Bob Friel, Justin, Florian Greiner, Kevin, your video and Shaughnessy stuff is in there. Jamie Gilardi. So many people have allowed us to use their beautiful images, and my friend Cy and Snow at Pacific Northwest Protectors. So let's just roll that video and see what we got. Sit back and enjoy.
Take a look outside. We live in a truly special place, and with that comes a responsibility.
It's a responsibility that can transform your life.
It can give you purpose.
It's a chance to make a real difference.
The Salish Sea is home to nearly 5,000 miles of picturesque coastline and more than 400 lush and rugged islands.
It's home to 37 species of mammals, 172 species of birds, 253 species of fish, and more than 3,000 invertebrates.
It's also home to 8 million people, including 2 massive port cities and hundreds of towns strung together by bustling freeways, every bit of it uphill from the sea.
Our global ocean is threatened by massive forces like climate change, and making a difference on that scale can feel daunting.
For 20 years, CDOC Society has worked to protect our beloved slice of that ocean. It's people like you who've made that work possible.
Over and over, year after year, you've chosen the Salish Sea.
You have stood up for this special place and its wildlife.
You have stood up and said that science and education can make a difference.
When Kathy and Ron McDowell met with Dr. Jonna Mazette at the UC Davis School of Veterinary Medicine's Wildlife Health Center in 1999, their vision for the CDOC Society was born. But Kathy and Ron's inspiration, which brought Science Director Joe Gatos and his family to Orcas Island, was just the beginning.
Stephanie Wagner was a donor we had never met, but who'd been inspired by our work. When she left us our very first legacy gift, she changed the Salish Sea forever. Her gift funded our groundbreaking, multi-year project to understand the decline of marine bird species. which set the stage for our current recovery efforts. A true legacy.
When hundreds invested in our Salish Sea Forever campaign, you took us from one scientist and 2 part-time staff members to a full collaborative team with a regional director and experts dedicated to outreach and youth education.
It was our summer auction attendees who raised $75,000 so that Joe and SeaDoc board member Audrey Benedict could write a National Geographic-style, award-winning book all about our home. It's sold nearly 20,000 copies and sits on the bookshelves and coffee tables of countless state and national legislators, and has inspired thousands more to know, connect, and protect the Salish Sea.
A couple of years later, we adapted a version of the book for kids, and hundreds of you supported our grassroots crowdfunding campaign, putting more than 6,000 copies in the hands of Salish Sea students to date. Those books have gone to Title I, First Nations, and tribal schools, ensuring that anyone can become a Salish Sea hero.
20 years. That's 7,300 days. That's more than 29,000 tide changes.
And beneath every one of those ebbs and flows, hundreds of perfectly evolved species have split their time between the cool breeze and the sloshing saltwater of the Salish Sea.
Meanwhile, our team has been out there working to protect their home.
We've been in the field, conducting important science and funding other bright minds to do the same.
We've worked with policymakers to ensure our work leads to real, lasting change.
We've been in classrooms inspiring a new generation of heroes.
Our scientists took to the sea floor when 90% of our sunflower sea stars were wiped out in just 1 year.
We were there when Taliqua carried her dead calf more than 1,000 miles over 17 days, and we helped perform the first intervention on a wild killer whale when Scarlet began her decline.
And thanks to you, we'll continue to be there.
You have made the last 20 years possible.
Now it's time to think about the next 20 years.
The next 7,300 sunrises and sunsets.
The next 29,000 tide changes.
It's time to invest in something that regulates our climate, produces the fish we eat, and makes the oxygen we breathe.
It's time to invest in the very soul of who we are.
The Salish Sea.
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 So, Joe, before I sign out, Erica, do you want the floor for anything?
Dang, putting me on the spot. No, we did get another $10,000 anonymously. We've gotten many, many more, and we're gonna get to you all. We promise. We have the chat, and we'll be going through this. So if you didn't hear it, it's because we're working really hard to get to them all. So we will get there. But thank you all so much for showing up tonight. I mean, it means the world to us.
So JD, your MC, is going to be signing out, but and before I turn it over to Joe, I want to say something about why SeaDoc, and this is kind of just something that I wanted to say, but you guys are delivering this. I wanted to say for those of us above the Salish Sea that live in the Pacific Northwest, our lives, Joe mentioned, and our livelihood are dependent upon the Salish Sea. But for those that live below the Salish Sea, their lives are dependent upon us. And tonight it's just another unbelievable testament to all of you. So I want to say thank you so much. I'm signing out. Dr. Joe G., I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, thanks so much, Jim. And Justin, everybody that participated in that video, that was amazing. The images were just stunning. The whole thing was beautiful, and I can't thank you. And I just want to say that all of you that support us, I want you to remember, and I speak for our entire team, that every day we don't just show up to work and put in time. We show up inspired by you because we know that you're investing in us to do the work for you. We have to work together to be the positive change. That's the change you want to see. And so please, thank you so much for your donations. If you're still thinking about it, be sure to just click in that little button, that chat button. You can use the QR code over the shoulder, one of these shoulders here. Erica is going to stay on afterwards. And I just want to say, all of you, please take care. And remember, we do need to stand together to work our way through this pandemic and to see a future healthy Salish Sea. And stick around for a minute. We're going to roll some credits with some music at the end. we got a little surprise for all of you, so don't leave too quickly. Thank you. Kevin, over to you, buddy.
Thanks, Dr. Joe. Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna reiterate what Joe and Jim have just said about and you know, there's like a little funny little piece of telethon component to what we're doing right now, which hopefully we all kind of appreciate, and it's funny. But like, what separates us from that is that we're like speaking out here to our friends and community, and these people that have that, like, we are all here with a shared connection to this place that we love, and this place that we love, the Salish Sea. There's only one Salish Sea, and if you care about that, SeaDoc is the best investment you can make in that Salish Sea health. So, and just the breadth of the community that we've had over the last 20 years that's led us do all that work that you just saw. You know, thanks to all of you, thanks to your friends, thanks to your neighbor. Like, it feels pretty awesome. So it's rad to see all the team pop up here too. Hi everybody, thank you all. Like, amazing amount of work went into making this happen.
We want to do a group cheers to everyone.
I love it. So we're going to cheers, of course, to the Salish Sea. We're going to cheers to 20 years of SeaDoc from the past, 20 years of SeaDoc into the future. And most importantly, we're going to cheers to you all watching this, our community. So grab your wine, grab your beer, water, whatever mine goes. I got to hold it right here. And cheers, you guys. Thank you.
Cheers, everyone. Thank you.